She didn't just live through one of the most iconic times in Seattle history, but she captured it all on film. And now it's all chronicled in a new book called Making It, an intimate documentary of the Seattle indie rock and punk scene. And joining us now is author and photographer Bootsy Holler. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So, first of all, what was it like being among this scene and such an iconic time in Seattle?
I felt like I missed the scene.
Really?
Because grunge was already kind of passing through, and other photographers were already photographing, and so I really saw myself as the end of grunge, post grunge, coming into indie. So I didn't know I was really in an erupting scene, which became the indie scene.
Definitely. And who all did you photograph? What are some of the artists that you photographed?
Well, Death Cab for Cutie, for one, my friend Rosie Thomas, and a lot of the Catheters and punk bands, and of course, Carrie Ockery from Hammerbox and all her solo work. I worked with her a ton. Yeah.
Wow.
And Pearl Jam.
Just minor Pearl Jam throw in there too.
Yeah.
The list goes on.
Yeah, lots of great bands.
Can you share too, like a moment where you think back now and you're like, I can't believe I was there to witness that?
I mean, I saw Modest Mouse and Death Cab when they were just playing in little clubs, and I can look back and say, wow, that was crazy to be there, but that was just my life. They were my friends, and all my friends booked the clubs. They were bouncers. They worked there. They managed the bands. They were in the band. It was just that was my circle.
Your circle of friends.
Yeah,
so
my
truly
family.
You became like friends with these artists and bands that you have in this book.
Yeah, I mean, that was normal. It was
organic.
It was very organic how I came into the scene.
And how was that then?
At the time I had a boyfriend that played in a band, and I came in to Seattle after college at Western Washington University, and so I walked in the back door, and I kept walking in the back door.
What kind of stories can people expect to find in this book?
This book is really about the freedom to live a lifestyle and have the choices to make, especially as a woman, to make choices, healthy choices for myself and my body at that time to live a certain lifestyle. And that was the freedom to have my own business and do what I wanted and
I want to talk about that too, having your own business and surviving as a freelance artist. Walk us through, thinking back to the 90s and early 2000s.
Yeah. I mean, all I knew was I couldn't really work for someone else. I wanted to just skip the line and kind of go straight to the top. I was like, I don't have time. So I assisted a couple photographers, and I was like, I can do this. And I ran a separate small business at the same time as working to freelance. So I did two things, and then I was able to let go of that small business and then just strictly freelance. So, you work your butt off to get to that place.
Definitely.
But this wasn't, shooting bands wasn't my income. It's just what I did for fun. And then it started to bring in a little income. But what's amazing about the book is most of the time the work isn't for a job. It's me going out with my camera, shooting my friends, having fun, experimenting, playing. And that's why the book is so eclectic and different, and there's color and craziness and movement. And it was me playing.
Isn't it funny? Do you find this in your career when you're authentically yourself and who you are, you start seeing the most success? Does that resonate with you at all?
Oh, for sure. It's why people wanted to work with me, because they were comfortable with me. They knew I was going to make them look good. They liked me as a person. We could hang out and have a beer. You want to be around people that are like-minded and think like-mindedly. Yeah.
Tell me about the title too, Making It.
It's one of those things you say in your 20s, you got to make it before you're 30. Everybody says that, I got to make it, making it. And I'm still making it.
We all are. And what prompted you to want to put the photos together now and say this is the time?
Well, about 10 years ago, I started thinking about legacy and my work in that form. And I have a son, and I was like, if I can get all my work into books, whatever series it is, he has something to walk away with. He doesn't have to worry about my hard drives or my negatives or anything. And so this was the largest body of work during a specific chunk of time that had never really been seen. So I just started combing through all the negatives and trying to make a story, because I don't necessarily have Nirvana in here. I have Pearl Jam, but it's a story about culture and people and youth and experimenting and playing and being an artist. And I do tell a little bit of my story throughout the book. So it's about me trying to survive as an artist and these musicians, and who becomes famous and who doesn't, and how do you keep creating even when you don't make money? What is the pull to keep the passion to keep creating even when you're not making a lot of money?
And before we leave, you have an event tonight at Elliott Bay Book Company. Tell us about it.
I'm just going to do a talk, and I'm going to have a Q&A, and my friend Troy Nelson from KEXP, he's a DJ, he's going to be there kind of talking back and forth, and I have some musicians that might be a surprise that show up. So.
Oh my gosh, tease, tease, tease. Thank you so much for being here and sharing your passion. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.